I was so much touched about when you mentioned his woman authority. Josephine Amadi. I was touched.
I don't rush at that will get down.
I want to ask just two questions. My first one is about change. Sometimes we try to make change when things are not working. But as a CEO, you also get scared because the change might also affect things negatively. You think the change will help?
Okay, just wait. You say it, just wait. Well, change is natural. Change must happen, that's okay. I'll give you an example. Your question was, how do you change so it doesn't affect negatively? If a change is necessary, you have to plan a change. There's no guarantee that the change will be possible. The problem will send you down. And the reason why it's exciting for me is that I think it depicts the UT story. You know, we're very successful after UT Financial Services. And even as UT Bank, transiting from UT Financial Services to UT Bank, that was a big change. You see that we're going from a less regulated environment to a more regulated environment. And also, banking was different from what we're doing. We're doing lending, it's part. I would say that most difficult part of banking is lending, where we have virtually excelled. Therefore, we thought the other parts of banking is low-hanging fruits. So we decided that we would change ourselves and become a bank. All the expectations and attributes were clear to us. Because before, we're just taking interest and income on interest income, less interest expenses. And then our expenses would go, then we would give our profit, and we was expected for them. And we said, for example, if you took a loan from you, sometimes they go and leave it with the bank, cash collateral for LC. So the expensive money we give a client in 48 hours, they go and put in the bank for about 2 weeks when the bank is now establishing LC. And then the LC is probably for 90 days or 180 days, and the bank holds our money like that. And it's only giving paper, literally. And then when the goods come or the goods are shipped, before the bank release the money, I said, if we can give the loan ourselves, then why don't we actually get into the arena where we can issue LC and then let the client benefit some more? And one thing that I think, for me personally, touched was that my staff were not professionals as saying we belong to this association of professionals. They were basically loan officers or debt collectors. If, and this I was passionate about, if we could become a bank, same day they are bankers. And then the whole world will open up. Those who want to go to treasury, those who want to go into corporate banking, those who want to go to compliance, those who want to go into risk management, those who want to go to retail banking, but people develop themselves. We have arrived. That was my passion. So we meant well for the public, for our customers, for our staff and everything, that if we move into banking, and we're also disruptive, we're going to actually shake the banking industry because we're not selling the people well. It involves a process moving from where we were to that. We sat down, analyzed, and we thought we had answers for all of it. In hindsight, they were not deep enough. So change, you must change, but you must be very careful as to what goes into the process of change. So for example, we set up a team called Project David. And the idea of David is that David is going to kill the Goliath. Yeah. So UT, from where we were going to banking to actually make a change and kill the Goliath. And we're all excited about it. But the team, the composition of the team, and what the team delivered, everything wasn't deep enough. For example, we knew that in acquiring a bank, the culture is going to suffer. So you're bringing, not organically by acquisition, 200 staff, different culture. So we put in measures to make sure the culture will come up again to what we were used to. But it was difficult to manage those circumstances. For example, before we became a bank, every year I sat down with every staff member, me and him one-on-one. And I'll drive all the way to Kappa, I'll drive all the way to Sunyani, and make myself comfortable out of my normal office and have a chat about your career development, your this, your that. So the staff had special attachment to me. When we became 400 overnight, it was humanly impossible. And so I lost the touch that I had one-on-one with them. Long story short, the change, and let me ask this too. When we became a bank, I think the magic, the aura around UT, local company, they acquired a foreign bank and this, we became Bank of the Year. The first time a business bank has become Bank of the Year. And then you know what set in? The hubris. You know hubris? Hubris is when you think you are mothers, anything you touch is broken. Because, oh, we come to banking and we are Bank of the Year. So then, we lost focus on the underlying thing. Because we had brought in a lot of new people who are different, they were even stealing and compromising themselves, unlike what we used to do. Therefore, we started coming down. And again, we had to do another change. Because when we realized that our performance wasn't good, by 2014, we started thinking about things that we had to do. 2015, we put in a restructuring program to restructure the way we're doing banking, complete position before the change, seeing where you have to go, set up the structures and the system to ensure that it will be smooth and you will not fail. But if you should fail, stand up with a clear plan and change again. Okay? Thank you.
So what is the difference between an SME and a small enterprise, medium enterprise, and a large company? Just for clarity.
Nobody has been able to define it succinctly and draw the line. When we said we were semi-SME, and IFC was part of our team and things like that, well, it depends on the country. Sometimes they use a number of staff that you employ. I say up to 10, you are micro, then you are small, then you are medium, and then you become large. Sometimes they use a capital, but you see, when it comes to the IT company, they may not have a lot of people, and they may be worth billions. So, and you can't say, because they are employed maybe 20, 30 people, then they are a small company. They are not a small company, they are impacting the world big time. So, really, you can find various definitions for it, but I think it's up to you to look at yourself. I think at the end of the day, I want to use your turnover rather than show whether you are big or small. But there are no specific figures for turnover. So the answer to your question is that it's all fuzzy and I don't know. I've struggled with it for a long time. I've had a lot of definitions, but it depends. You have micro, small, medium, and then large. But normally, if you have more than, it can be more than 50, but if you have tailors all using single machine or something about 100 of them, you can't say you are a big company. You are a very small company. But again, so also the structure that you have, the people of the bank position, things like that will also determine whether you go to say large or small. Am I right? Or I've added to the confusion? Okay.
My name is Ebe, and my question is regarding
when you bring an investor, you see, it's always good to get an investor. Actually, when you start business, sometimes you start like a partnership. Oh, they're going to collect the phone. And by default, you have a partner or partners. What we're not careful about initially is that we don't put the structure right. So maybe I form the company, I own the shares, I don't give shares to the people I'm using. And then when I think I need them, I probably give them 5% and they take it like that. And then later I realize that you use them and so on and so forth. So my one is that when the business is small, be very clear about shareholding structure. Who owns what? And don't treat it anyhow. I made my mistakes, plenty of them. Because if you are not greedy, you tend to say that, oh, let's do 50-50, but then you take life at a time. But when it gets really serious to us, you realize that decision making is even difficult. If he says yes and you say no, I fight. Then it brings tension. So the structure is right now. If moving from the structure, when you need capital, you have a vision. And the vision changes. When the vision requires more capital, to achieve it, you must invite some investors. Because you can't just wait and say, well, I don't have the money, I'll wait for it to happen when I have the money maybe in 10 years' time. 10 years, things would have changed and maybe that vision is no more, no more effective or don't have the right effect. So when you need money and you don't have, that's why companies will list. When you list, what it means is that you are now selling shares to the whole of people so they can't invest. Advantages are plenty, but what is disadvantage too. The advantage is that people take small shares that they are not effective, and therefore you still have control. Otherwise, you call a big investor who may take the whole business and then even change the name and take it away. But if the time is right and you are tired and you think you want something else, you may want to do that. So again, it depends on the conditions in which you find yourself. Take advantage of the vision. You need more money. You don't have the money. You bring it back. You look for a partner who will take the business, understand the vision, will take the business in the direction in which you think you should go. Sometimes they didn't come in and they tell you that we're going to change it. And you change your vision and align with their vision and say, yes, take it and run with it. Because everybody's race is different. You're not supposed to run your race to the very end. Sometimes all you have to do is to run your bit and let somebody else continue. If you like the Bible, don't forget, John the Baptist came to baptize Jesus and then get all the sin and even die by accident. And Jesus Christ came to redeem all of us. So we all have a role to play. Don't play past your role. And it's difficult because we're human beings and we think we can do everything by ourselves. So when the need arises, and you think there's a partner or investor who will bring the right impact to the business, to the benefit of the general humanity, then go ahead and do
it. My question is, in hindsight, when you were a small finance company, you had the passion for the people. So I can see that you're passionate, you're a people person. But then when you grew to become a big company, a big bank, you lost contact with some people, couldn't touch base with all the employees. So my question is, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we want to grow our business, but then we realize that as we grow, the thing that gives us the passion, we lose it a bit. Do we stay in our comfort zone and maintain the passion that we have for the business, or do we grow, lose passion for the job or the work we have, and then it also has its adverse effect? For example, if you want to grow and investors want to come in, sometimes they come in with their own culture, sometimes they come in with their own principles. Do you let them come in and then change everything about the business that originally gave you passion? Or do you just hold on to what you really are crazy about and then go in your small, slow pace?
Okay, thank you. I think when you be an investor, you see, it's always good to get an investor. Actually, when you start business, sometimes you start like a partnership. Oh, they're going to collect a from me. And by default, you have a partner or partners. What we're not careful about initially is that we don't do the structure right. So maybe I form the company, I own the shares, I don't give shares to the people I'm using. And then when I think I need them, I probably give them 5% and they take it like that. And later I realize that you use them and so on and so forth. So my warning is that when the business is small, be very clear about shareholding structure. Who owns what? And don't treat it anyhow. I made my mistakes, plenty of them. Because if I'm not greedy, you tend to say that, oh, let's do 50-50, yeah. But then, you take life at a time. But when it gets really serious to it, you realize that decision making is even difficult. If you say yes, and you say no, I fight. Then brings tension. So the structure is right now. If moving from the structure, when you need capital, you have a vision. And the vision changes. When the vision requires more capital, to achieve it, you must invite some investors. Because you can't just wait and say, well, I don't have the money, I'll wait for it to happen, when I have the money, maybe in 10 years' time. 10 years, things would have changed, and maybe that vision is no more, no more effective or don't have the right effect. So when you need money, and you don't have, that's why companies will list. When you list, what it means is that you are now selling shares to the whole of people so they can't invest. Parties are plenty, but what zones are parties too. But nothing is that people take small shares that they are not effective, and then they still have control. Otherwise, you call a big investor who may take the whole business and then even change the name and take it away. But if the time is right and you are tired and you think you want something else, you may want to do that. So again, it depends on the conditions in which you find yourself. Take advantage of the vision. You need more money. You don't have the money. You bring it back. You look for a partner who will take the business, understand the vision, will take the business in the direction in which you think you should go. Sometimes they even come and they tell you that they're going to change it. And you change your vision and align with their vision and say, yes, take it and run with it. Because everybody's race is different. You're not supposed to run your race to the very end. Sometimes all you have to do is to run your bit and let somebody else continue. If you like the Bible, don't forget John the Baptist came to baptize Jesus and then get all the sin and even die by accident. And Jesus Christ came to redeem all of us. So we all have a role to play. Don't play past your role. And it's difficult because we're human beings and we think we can do everything by ourselves. So when the need arises, I think there's a partner or investor who will bring the right impact to the business, to the benefit of the general humanity. Then go ahead and do it.
Experience and from what we know about foreign companies largely who are able to stay for decades, for centuries, and still remain, say, family businesses. We don't have that in Ghana. So if we do that, for example, you run to a point and say, okay, somebody should take over because you're running out of energy or ideas, and you take on investors or whatever, and they come and change the direction of your dream. What happens after 100 years, after 200 years? We just give it up for the focus to change and still grow. Or you want to do a business, a family business that will stay and become a legacy. Where do we have legacies then?
But a lot of people say that in Ghana, I don't see those kind of legacies. But the correction is that those so-called family businesses that are stayed, sometimes the family owns probably 20%. but they have majority control interest, so they have the biggest share of it. And then it's probably a public company. And therefore they can influence major decisions like name and things like that for a long time. But there are also small companies that want to stay small because they want to control the family business and things like that. It's a matter for you to decide. But I think in Ghana, we're yet to see a Ghanaian company transcend so many years and leave a legacy and say that I'm being family and so on and so forth. So, and it's coming from the fact that we want to own things ourselves and we can't trust ourselves. Not wrongly though. So, and then we also tend to have big families from various homes, all sorts of things. So, on the death of the original person, then there's all sort of cases and brothers fighting with sisters and so on and so forth. So the business is for us. But if you put the structures right, then these things you can overcome them. And you don't have to own even 51% to still keep the company, the family. You can own 30, 25% and still keep the family and still attract all the investors that you want to own the rest of the company. I think if we get away from the greed of owning 100%, then we can have a solution. You are right. And the people knew as well of UT Financial Center what we're doing. As nature will have it, when we decided to go into banking, the idea was to have a bank and have UT Financial Services. Now, those days, the requirement for a banking line, capital requirement for banking line was 7 million cedis, if I remember correctly. And so it was easy. We had raised 27 million cedis from, and that 27 million cedis was $27 million at the time, from 1 to 1. We had raised $27 million from the stock exchange, so we were okay as a bank. We bought a bank, we put a bit of capital there. At that same time, coincidentally, the minimum capital was raised to 60 million cedis. Now, the only way we could keep majority shares in the bank is to merge financial services. If we kept financial services as it was, then the bank will go away, or somebody will control the bank at the time. So we had to brainstorm and say, how do we keep the bank? And after all, we said, then finally we said, after all, we can keep the financial services in the bank because bank does lending. So keep that special lending in the bank, and then the bank do other things. So the original plan is, as you said, we're going to keep it separately financial and the bank. But capital requirements at the time made that impossible. Therefore, by merging the two, then we keep our identity and keep a big chunk of the bank and still do what we were doing as financial services. That's what happened. Yeah.
Mubarika Audu. I am the manager of Northern Pride Smokes. Northern Pride Smokes. Yes, my question to you is, if you look, I make small fabrics and bags.
Okay.
Yes. So my question to you is, looking back at all that have happened to you in your business life, what would you have done differently from what had happened to you now? Is there anything you would have liked to do differently? Thank you.
I would have done the same thing. We're looking at the opportunity and the excitement we had in what we're doing. But I would have done it differently in a few aspects. For example, when we said we're going to change to become a bank, and we set up with the David team, we should have looked at the constitution of the team first. We should have brought in banking consultants, banking experts, plus our own people, and sat down to digest what we are doing right and the new area which we're going to, and to actually probably do some kind of simulation before we launch. It was a good thing, but we're coming from a different regulatory environment to a new one, and we're bringing too many people. Therefore, the presentation was not just about the processes, but the people and the roles we're playing and the structures to look at it. In hindsight, we didn't do that deep enough. But as in transiting from financial service to a bank, I would have done it the same. It was exciting. I have no regrets about it at all. And those days, people started that they're the first time a local bank has grown, and then acquired a foreign bank and all those things. That was good for the country, so that we can also do it and acquire a foreign bank. And we took a lot of attention, and that's how come I became the local icon. Because the story was a good story. But the handling of it, in hindsight, we have done it.
Stable and working very well before you venture into another line of business or product? Or like how do you go about that?
It's a very good question. In our case, as a UT's case, we had only one business. One, lending. Now, the question is, how come you then have a business, a property? It was all part of the lending. Let me take the first subsidiary that we formed, UT Logistics. We were lending to importers. And we tried, trusted people, get the money to go and clear their cars. And they go and clear the car. Oh, I haven't sold. Next time you hear, you sold and you come back, you bought our cars. So we stopped for a while. And I said, there's a huge market there. Who will tell us? So we changed and said, if we give money to you to clear the car, we will follow you and take the car and go and put the car in some garage so that we will see when you sell. And then they had this with the garage people. And also the garage people will inflate the price and use the car. The poor importer or blogger won't get his money, get frustrated. We also get frustrated. So we held on. I said, I see a lot of business there. Long story short, we employed clearing agents, part of UT Financial Services. So if you come and take a loan, we approve the loan, we get a loan to our clearing agent, UT clearing agent, to go and clear your goods for you. Now we realized it wasn't enough, so apart from the clearing agent, we had to rent warehouses. So we rent warehouses and we put warehouse managers in there. And we have to do collateral management. So if you say rights, we clear, we put in our warehouse, our manager is sitting on it. If you get the buyer, you bring the money, you take rights. Bring money, take rights. When you finish paying us, you pay the rest of the rights. And they start working. But then by default, we have clearing agents in UT Financial Services. We have warehouse managers, collateral managers, all within UT Financial Services. Then when we decided to become a bank, we couldn't go to the bank with all those baggage. So we created UT Logistics to serve the same thing for the bank. Now, when it comes to properties, we had some properties that we either the offices, branches, and things that we had to actually manage. And then we had clients' properties that we also had to manage and so forth, collateral and things like that. So we had property management people, and then we had a valuer. Because giving a loan means going to value the property. Now, if you're going to value the collateral, do a normal professional valuation will take you about 2 weeks minimum. And we failed to do loans in 48 hours. We were not interested in the property, we were just interested in the value of the property. So we employed professional valuer. And he used to go and he said, and he would pick a phone and said, Chief, I've seen the property, it's about $200,000 plus or minus 20%. That's all I needed. I didn't need that flamboyant, whatever with pictures. I didn't need it. So we had valuers, we had property managers and things like that. So by default, we had a properties company within UT Financial Services. And again, we spun that one off and became UT Property before going to the bank. The other company like UT Private Securities, which I like, I went to Alisa Hotel to chair a function. As I was parking, there was 9 slots in front. The security guy came shouting at me that I should move the car, and I said, listen, I'm the chairman for the function. Give me some place to park. They said, okay, then you can park there. So I was down a bit, finished the function, and I was driving back to my office at UT. When I got there to park my car, the security guys, they were third-party security guys, were mishandling our client who was coming to the bank. So I went upstairs, I was sitting down prior, and I said, we promise to give maximum customer service with respect and everything to all our clients. It looks like the respect and care is coming within the doors, but not within the gates. So I called a friend of mine who was a retired engineer. I said, Bob, can you run a security company for me? And he came with this card, and we formed UT Private Securities with the intention of using them only for UT installations. And they were good. We took them to Chelsea, they trained, and sent me to your paraply, whatever, military. And people loved them. So they said, oh, give us some of the security people, you know. That's how come that came about. Then there's UT collections. The banks wanted us to collect their money for them. We couldn't use the same UT collection. We use UT collections to collect those money. So, what I'm trying to say, in our case, every company that we formed had something to do with the core lending. It wasn't just, I wake up morning and say, I'm going to form this company. No. Everything was different. I found people now, those who followed our path, we set up the savings and road, and then they are doing mining, they are doing housing, they are doing, I said, I don't understand. But because they could not have been asking, so they didn't ask me. I told them how I came by those things. We were focused on one business, which was lending, and we brought in all these other things on the smartphone. So, if you want to expand or form other business, there must be the proper linkage and benefits and synergies in setting up that business. Don't just set up a business. Keep focused on the main business. And then if you have to, let's say, maybe transport is a big thing, and you're spending so much on transport, and you think you have what it takes to manage transport, then maybe you want to set up transport to serve you and probably do a little bit for those because the excess capacity is there. But don't just set up anything because they say it's good. No. Decide on what you want to do, and anything that comes along, you want to look at it. If you decide to sell coasting, because people love it, you can do coasting better, not the kind of rubbish people are eating, and set up coasting. Before you realize, anytime they buy the coasting, they go here and buy cocoa. But cocoa, you can't do better. So then you felt like you are doing coasting with their coasting. Then you say, they also have grammars. Before I realized that, you go to grammars. Then the supplier of the groundnut will say, he's not coming on time, the groundnut is quality is inferior. You can't really grow groundnut. Then you look at it and see if you have the capacity before you go to groundnut. But no, just go. Because the whole thing is to sell Kose, but Cocoa will add to the Kose, bring something. Groundnut will bring something. So bring something. Then you keep focus on what you're supposed to do. Don't just do it anyhow. Thank you.
So, 4 ingredients for success: people, customers, product and processes, finances. Right? Okay, people. Your culture has a great impact on your people. Be the role model of your business. Do what you want them to do and lead from the front. Honesty, integrity, and keep a professional relationship, but don't go overboard. Don't become too friendly, but keep a slight distance. If you have time, you can make friends with pastors. If you have time. Customers, stay in touch. Be there, be the face. Be accountable to the customers. Product. Remember why you chose your business idea. The drive to improve people's lives and to solve people's problems. If you keep true to those things, you'll always have your passion. Finances. Avoid waste, cut costs. Love yourself first. The rest will follow. Monitor change. Change can bring negatives, but you have to manage it, and you can't avoid change. Don't play past your role, which means that when it's time for you to move on, for the good of the business, don't be afraid. And don't fixate on owning 100% of your business. If others can come in and take it and run, be prepared to buy out. Grow organically, diversify logically, and keep to the core
structures, systems, processes. I think you said that a lot, and that's key. Policy, structures, systems, processes. You want me to explain what Thank you so much. Mr. Bobby, if I don't ask this question in front for tonight, it will worry. One of the major problems we face as entrepreneurs is funding for our businesses. You are a banker, and we want to know what do we do wrong? What makes it impossible for us as SMEs not to get loans when you are sitting in the bank and people come in? What is it that does not make them get the funding to take their business further? What is your advice for us as entrepreneurs?
That's a tough one. I mean, the reason why we set up UT was actually to help the small businesses and entrepreneurs like you. There are challenges. I mean, I won't sit here and say, do a blue plan and do that, go to the bank. The thing about the banks is, so fortunately that the structure of the bank didn't come. The thing about the bank is, to do a loan of, say, 50,000, take the same effort as doing a loan of, say, 50 million. almost the same effect. So banks, and the bigger they are, the less interested they are in so small. That's the first one. So, and then, because the business is risky, because of the economic environment, I mean, really, the city is not stable, you trade against the dollar, your roads are not good to even go and get your raw material, even get your tourists moving around on time. Your hospitals are this and so forth. So they know that your business is really facing a lot of challenges and they don't want to risk it. On top of that, it's our own attitude towards paying loans. People take loans with the intention of not paying from the onset. Now they walk into your office. The intention is to take a loan and not pay. And the banks don't want this to hurt their financials. And we have this culture of giving. So somebody comes to you to even assess your business and check if you have what you say you have. And you can cry. And he takes it. You corrupted the guy. When he has to come and take the money back, as I gave me 5,000, how can I put pressure on? But that is hurting the company. And the bank don't have a solution to this. So they shy away from people like us. So it's a real challenge. They will ask you to just put your money there and run your account and run your account and run your account. And when you put in the request finally, they are not there for you. And if you go for the non-bank too, the cost is too high. And if you should fail to, the repercussions are too harsh. So, to advise you, I think you should try and grow slowly, and you should try and use structure your business so that you use your customers to fund it if it's possible. I mean, it's good to do your smoke before you sell at a career and all those things. But get the orders and let them make a down payment. So the demand for funding is not too much. And use those techniques to leverage on the business. Don't go bidding for loan that I'm going to produce so much and before I sell. No. Find your buyers and your clients and try and coach them in paying part, or even get them to even own a part of the business if it's necessary. If they can assure you of a constant market and so on and so forth. Of course, you can talk to the banks, but I start to think the problems will go through all the time. As soon as you make them mad, the banks will start chasing you and offering you loans. Then you have them and you can dictate a few things to them. But when you are really starting and struggling, they're not there for you. That's when you have to be more ingenious to depend on your clients, to take the advances, depend on family and friends and partners to put in money until you get there. Plow back all your profit. I never paid myself dividend 9 months or 8 months from the start of the business. I paid dividend to myself only because when we're going to get listed, they wanted to know if there's a track record of paying dividend, which also enhances people buying. That's the only time I paid dividend. When you got dividend, I don't know what I paid with it. I put all the money back. I wake up in the morning to night, I was just at work. So plow all the money back, all the profits should go back to business, because if you take it and go on holidays and spend it, come to the bank and want to lend money at 30-something%, you are hurting the business and hurting your people. So from yourself, from your clients, from relatives, from partners, whatever, and from your banks, when
Ago. Very, very insightful. We have grown more than we keep. We've learned a lot. I believe most of us have gone home, have gone back to our offices while sitting here. How am I not doing right? We can say thank you. You have actually touched lives, you actually touched businesses, and all we can say is God bless you. We are refreshed. We are going back, not as we came, but we are going back reformed, better than what we are. The number of us here, let's go back and impact, because we cannot get this in any classroom. No classroom can do that. So you went through all for our sake, so that a day like this, this number of us will learn, and we have learned. So on behalf of Women in Business and Tourism, we are so grateful, and we are happy we are here. And unfortunately, those who are not here, we'll try and reach them though, but it will not be original as yours. So we want to say Women in Business are grateful. We believe that with all these we've learned, our businesses will not remain the same. They will come up with learned a lot. So God bless you.